Welcome to Iron Tree Financial Charity Token Event Special Podcast. Normally it's your time, your money. We are excited. We are bringing the four horsemen of the token apocalypse, bringing money to the capital region.
Yes, very much so. Very, very excited. So for those listeners that haven't seen some of our prior posts, obviously we are in our 25th year servicing the capital region, and we want to celebrate that. And all of us are near and dear to a lot of charities.
Yes.
And our way to give back is to involve the community a little bit, right?
You gotta give back, man.
You know, and our thought is we are going to hide some charity tokens. We actually have already hid them around the capital region. They look like this. It's a token, and it's actually got a kind of fact finder card to it. Obviously, the lawyers got involved and wanted us to do this disclosure on here.
Lawyers always got to get
it
involved,
actually
man.
it helped with hiding the token, and it gives the official rules and how to claim. So let's talk a little bit about what the token is. There are 10 of these individually numbered tokens hidden around the Albany area.
One of which that was already found.
One of which was already found. Correct. And the tokens are actually going to be related to our podcast series, Your Time, Your Money, where we're going to be giving some hints. So what do you guys feel about the hints? You think that's going smooth during the podcast session?
Ooh, well, it's interesting because, you know, when you're in the middle of trying to give a topic about, you know, information about a topic, and then all of a sudden you're like trying to throw in something that's way off.
I was thinking about it. I'm like, we should be able to do hints, but then also throw like curveballs and like something opposite of a hint. I was like, that'd be really bad, but we're just gonna give straight up hints.
Yeah, but our goal is to have people find.
We want that.
Right.
We want to be able to
these to be
You
found.
could totally be a double agent and be like, no, don't go over to this river.
And I'm pretty confident that 3 or 4 of them will probably just be found by random people walking around the areas that they're
which they do say. They say what to do and how to contact us.
Yeah, which is great with the
are.
card on it. Right?
There's going to be a couple that you absolutely need the hint for, though. Like, you will not be able to find them without the hint.
Yeah, now we say in plain sight, but that also means that you may have to get on your knees and look under something, be on your tiptoes, look on top of something, but you definitely 100% do not have to climb on anything.
You don't have to dig anything.
You don't need to use a drone.
Yeah,
there's no drones.
No drones.
You don't need to be pulling up roots of a tree or anything
defacing
along
public
that
property
line.
in any way, shape, or form.
Don't get hurt or hurt anyone else trying to hustle for these things.
Please, no damage to the property. I think it's a good idea in this session. Let's go around the room and maybe go through the charities a little bit about what they're at. About some of these charities. Majority of these charities have a local presence. And there's a couple in there that we've been referred on to by listeners and people that suggested that we give to them just because of their cause. And then some of us have a personal tie to them as well. But I think we've got some great charities listed on here. Let's go random buckshot. Pick one off the list. And Adam, why don't you start us off?
I'll do the regional food bank. My daughter actually volunteers there pretty regularly. Volunteers her time, her and her friends, and it's a great organization that provides food for people that need it.
Yeah, they're about a mile from us.
Yep,
They're not that far. Actually, if you haven't volunteered there before, we've done that as a group. It was kind of like an episode of I Love Lucy where the stuff was coming down the conveyor belt, and we had to separate it into boxes.
Got some
You're putting your shirt
and they kept speeding up the conveyor belt, trying to catch us off. But look, it's a phenomenal charity. They help people in need, help fill actually a lot of the food pantries for a lot of the local city missions as well. And we wanted to focus on them because they outreach to the different city missions. So instead of picking one city mission, we were able to do the food bank. Which if a listener or finder of the token picks them, they're going to get $1,000.
Absolutely.
Justin?
Fantastic. Yeah, I'm going to go with something that is actually near and dear to me. Ronald McDonald House of the Capital Region. So we actually, before COVID, we had the opportunity to go pretty regularly and cook food for the families that are there. So for people that don't know, when a loved one has some type of illness or anything like that they're going to be out either away from their home or a parent's going to be away from the home. It's an opportunity for them to stay at the Ronald McDonald House. They don't have to pay for it, and that's why they're a lot closer to their loved one that's in
kind of
hospital.
right in between Albany Med, St. Peter's. Local
yes,
hospital.
it's a central location. So if people are out of town, I know that one of our colleagues, not going to mention names, one of our colleagues has actually used that specific location, as well as the location that's actually in the hospital itself. They have a little area where children with young families can go, and it's a more comfortable place to be as opposed to just the general area of the hospital.
Yeah, we've done some nice sessions cooking for them.
Correct, yeah.
And also for listeners that don't know about that charity, is we've also helped sponsor a house, a campsite up in northern Lake George, and that's where families can go after they've lost a loved one to cancer or some terminal illness, so that they can grieve a little bit. So that's another one that's near and dear to our heart that we've been involved in. Matt, what do you got for us?
Well, there's a couple sports ones on here, but I'm actually going to start with the why. The why? The why?
Who?
The why?
Oh, this could be an Abbott and Costello moment.
The why.
Who?
So most people don't know, but the NFL actually does a lot with the Y. They do a lot with the Boys and Girls YMCAs in the area. And with the YMCA locally, the Trust, which is one of the subsidiaries of the NFL, they give back a ton with the NFL Play 60 initiative, and they help bolster community sports programs. So, the Y obviously is a phenomenal place. There's like 3 or 4 in the local area: Bethlehem, Saratoga, Clifton Park, Colony. Especially if you have a young child, great opportunity to bring them in, expose them to a different group of kids. There's babysitting service, there's swimming services for seniors. They have a lot of great opportunity there. And there's a lot of places that try to copy them, but it's a great opportunity. The one in Clifton Park, you can buy a brick. So I would love to be able to donate $1,000 from Iron Tree and go buy 10 bricks. That would be really cool. So I hope somebody picks the Y if they find the token.
Yeah, and they've asked us in the Guilderland one to come in and do a series before of educational seminars. We went in there and talked a little bit to their membership about college planning and some other planning opportunities. I think one that is really near and dear to my heart is actually a guest episode that we had on for Child Voice. Child Voice is an international based charity, but they have ties and roots, and actually were established here, for most people don't know, in the Schenectady area, and they help combat war-torn areas where children are going through the atrocities of war and helping them kind of rebuild from that.
That was a tremendous podcast, by the way.
And,
it was very moving.
Yeah, it was one titled "Finding Purpose." So for listeners that are listening, it's a moving one. There's actually one of the only ones where we have a disclaimer because we talk about some heavy-hitting topics,
heavy stuff.
but another good charity that's on the list.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Oh, back to me. Hi, welcome back, everybody. The Boy Scouts of America, right? That's just a great organization.
Always be prepared.
There's very few people out there that probably don't know what it is. But especially when my 2 boys were younger, they got involved with that stuff, and we did the whole Pinewood Derby and and did some camping and stuff. It was fun. What'd you say?
So many ways to cheat in the Pinewood Derby.
Graphite weight.
The ultimate cheat code.
I still swear by the ones we built. But again, great organization's been around for a long time, and just still continuing to do great work. So
I was an Eagle Scout too. I'm not sure if anyone get through the program. Boy Scout.
No, I jump shipped for the Civil Air Patrol, but that's a different story.
Eagle Scout over here. I love it.
I'm going to go with the American Heart Association.
Cool.
Right. Obviously, we're also involved in that as well, with being able to help support that. But I think one of the things that I could say is that no matter what charity you choose on the list, right, when you find the token, it's going to go to an initiative that we strongly believe in, right, and that other listeners in the community have mentioned. So the American Heart Association, obviously, bringing awareness to the ticker, the thing that keeps us all going. As somebody who has dealt with having family members that have had heart issues and situations where they've needed surgery and things like that, it's just a wonderful organization that's helping to bring awareness to not only like the information about Heart Association and things like that, but also about how to keep your heart healthy and ways to prevent having to have surgeries, bypasses, things like that by making the information a little bit more readily available about what you can do in order to be able to maintain good heart health. And I think that's extremely important. That's one of the things that we try and do as financial advisors is
preventative.
to stay ahead of
balance.
We don't want to deal with the problem. We want to prevent the problem, right? And that's one of the
and they have a great spokesman. I mean, Dr. Susie Mukherjee came in.
Yeah, she did a podcast.
Susie did our podcast on on stress and money, and how stress affects your heart.
Yep, absolutely.
So for those listeners that want to hear that, it's a little bit more of a life.
And Dr. Susie does this really cool thing with like meditation too. I'm actually seeing her at the end of the month. We're going to do some meditation.
Yeah, she's got a great.
I got a little bit of a rage monster in me. I don't know why. It's just like tries to break out. I turn green. I'm not sure what happens.
One thing I learned is no deep fried Twinkies.
That
doesn't help the heart.
Fair season's coming up. And I'm not
Fair
gonna lie.
season is coming up.
And Oreos.
They're deep frying everything, and I'm eating it.
I'll talk about one. The Marcus Paul Foundation is a phenomenal organization. Obviously, Marcus Paul passed away some time ago, and he was a tremendous leader and inspirational person. And they do a lot of community initiatives in the Syracuse area, and they started to grow nationally, which is phenomenal. So there's a golf tournament coming up. We have a tremendous amount of traction there, and they really like to give back. So I'm hoping that one of the people that finds the tokens, they decided to go with the Marcus Paul Foundation. We could do some great stuff with that. So excited about that one.
Excellent, and one that we've actually done quite a bit for in the past, and that's the Boys and Girls Club of America. I think it was probably 2017, somewhere in that time frame, maybe actually a little bit earlier than that. You would know, Justin.
18 or 19.
Under our prior banner, which was Forster's Financial, we had donated a playground, actually, and we organized 300 volunteers, and in one day we had a playground built for them.
Yeah, the one that's over at Schenectady.
In Steinmetz. So inner city area, much need of a playground, and we came in and kind of did that build for them, which we were integral in doing, and that's a great local community that really lifts people out of poverty, gives people educational resources so that they can get out of poverty, succeed in life, and I don't say just poverty, but just in general.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a phenomenal organization.
Yep. Sure. Another one on our list is St. Jude's Children's Hospital. I mean, that again, it's a lot of people know about the organization, and they do phenomenal things for children and their families that are dealing with various diseases. So, again, it's a just great organization and helping to support them.
On a personal note, that was one that when I was 11 years old, my uncle passed away at 36.
Wow.
And that was a charity that my brother and I chose to do a bike-a-thon for, to raise money for. So it's nice to see it come full circle to a period of time where we can give back a little bit more.
Make a difference. That's the biggest thing. You're trying to make a difference.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the next one is a Wounded Warrior Project. And obviously, the individuals in the armed forces, many times they sacrifice maybe more than their time. And that's one thing that, when we're thinking about who to thank, what to do, we're all sitting here in a free country, talking on a podcast that can be promoted, and somebody else has decided to not just be here sitting comfortably on a nice new couch and chairs, but to be out there defending our freedoms and being able to give back to an organization that helps to support those individuals that are either wounded in a sense of physically or mentally, and just raising awareness for what happens and the difficulties a lot of times of transitioning and coming home from that type of a situation. Talking about stress, no more stressful situation than being in a war-torn country or an active environment. So
one of the craziest stories I have from watching a Wounded Warriors event is that one of the sponsorship money that they get, they go toward benefiting warriors that need to do Tough Mudders and get them back into a normal flow. And I remember Christine did a Tough Mudder and up a mountain, down a mountain essentially, and when they came down, I noticed there's a group of guys with another guy, and I'm thinking wow, this is really hard. I don't think I could do it, right? Kind of doubting myself. As they come down the hill, I look, and the guy coming down the hill doesn't have legs. Holy smokes, this guy's doing this course without legs, and he's doing it, right? He's not. They're not carrying him. So I kind of had a reality check there, and I was like, wow, this is. And I talked to him. I was crying. I talked to him. I said, this is unbelievable. So
and for listeners that want to check out a good episode, one with Phil Kuntz, who's a Navy SEAL.
Yes.
Yeah, the truth behind my trident is his book.
Discussed a little bit about depression and anxiety and how to how to handle things.
Yeah, it's real.
So very very good cause.
Yeah. I'm gonna change over to Jack's Place. We actually did a sponsorship with Jack's Place at British American on 43, where they came in. They're very similar to Ronald McDonald House. They offer extended stays to families who are grieving or struggling with some type of surgery. I know we did a ton of sports memorabilia on that one. We got the Reggie Jackson, and we got the Niners helmet from them, and they do a lot of stuff in the community, which I really liked. I know Ronald McDonald House is more of a national organization. I think Jack's Place is a little more local, but it's still phenomenal. It's a great organization, and they have a tremendous leadership. So I hope someone picks them as well.
Yeah, and I would go with the Tim Tebow Foundation as one of the other charities that we have on our list. Tim Tebow's a personality. He's a persona.
Yep.
And love him or hate him.
You're going to get one or the other. You're not going to get both.
He's got an organization that really deals with protecting against child sex trafficking.
Yep.
And look, we all have kids, and that their safety is so important to us. Yeah. And being able to be a proponent for that and protecting against the atrocities that happen to children, I think is important. I had the pleasure of hearing him talk up here in Albany. He came to an Albany seminar to talk a little bit about their mission and stuff like that. So another good cause that listeners can choose from.
Yeah. I think the last one on our list is Syracuse University. I'm not sure what they do, though.
The fund for Syracuse.
They squeeze oranges and
I think that's what they do.
I skipped the Jack's Place. I should have switched.
Matt, you want to talk about that?
Yeah,
As an alumni?
The fund for Syracuse does some great community initiatives. I think a lot of it is about differentiation and knowing your community, and I think that what they do is they try to level the playing field for people that are impoverished, right? And they try to create opportunities that weren't necessarily going to be there for someone that comes from a broken home or someone that doesn't have the income to go to Syracuse. So there's a lot of giving back in that sense to the community. But the community being, people go to Syracuse from all over the country, even all over the world. So they look at it. They look at a status check of the entire roster of people coming in and say, okay, who are our neediest people? Let's help them get in a great education.
Yeah.
So phenomenal opportunity there.
So that's our list of charities that token finders can pick from, and hopefully they'll choose ones that are near and dear to their heart. We're also open to suggestions for next year's charity hunt.
I was about to say that. Yeah.
This is just to reiterate, this is an event that we want to build on, and we want to.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest suggestion I would love is to see another business come in and say we're going to double this number.
Yeah, and and that's ultimately the goal of this charity. Is that work that we're doing is to have partners come in beside us, whether it's professional partners, professional relationship partners, come in and do a matching contribution, right? And ultimately the goal is to get it to maybe 10,000 or 100,000 per token,
right,
or coin. This is obviously the inaugural season of this, and hopefully we can continue it each year and and build some traction with it.
Multi-planet.
So interplanetary.
Yeah. So first and foremost, once again, listeners, you need to do a little bit of Googling, a little bit of due diligence with some of our clues that we give you during the episodes. Some of the tokens are fairly easy to find if you just do a little bit simple research.
Yeah.
In which case, then it's a race to get there and who gets there first.
Race to the finish.
One thing I would suggest, if there are people that are volunteer at any of these charities, please reach out to your volunteer base. There's nothing better than getting 100 volunteers to search for tokens, and if you can find 7 for your organization, that's $7,000 going to your one organization.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So think about that and coworkers.
It doesn't mean that if one person finds one token, they can't find the rest.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So again, compete against yourself.
Yeah. Yep. So hey, it might be the our youngest listener, who I think is 13 now. Actually, we did a shout out prior, and we have a group of younger people that are gravitating towards our podcast as well. So maybe they encourage their parents to go out. Look, it's a great opportunity in nice weather to tell the kids to get away from the computer. Jump in the car and go and do a little bit of treasure hunting. So, if listeners want to find out more about Iron Tree Financial, you can reach us at Iron Tree Financial, CeteraIS.com. You can reach us at 844-444-YTYM for Your Time, Your Money. Just remember, subscribe so you don't miss out on the episodes that are going to be released for the charity hints.
Hints are coming.
The hints are coming.
How frequent again?
Yeah, we're going to try to get the episodes out as fast as we possibly can.
Okay.
Sam's working his bones off over there.
we were planning on every Thursday, but we might be doing that a little bit
Mark's
faster.
got him here till like 2 o'clock in the morning.
So
I don't know, Mark. I also
overtime, Sam.
I don't know if you had mentioned it. Maybe I just missed it, but not only will the person that finds the token be able to get a donate to the charity of their choice, but they also will be able to go out and
pick a restaurant.
A restaurant. We'll treat them to dinner. So
I'll gladly join them for dinner as well.
Gift card to a restaurant of your choice.
Yes.
So it'll depend on how long it lasts. So if you pick like a Sonic or a Burger King, it's going to last further than a 677 Prime or
correct,
something.
Right.
It's in the area.
you can stretch it, or you can try and shoot for the moon.
So there's also a reward for the treasure finder as well. Good point out. Good point, Justin.
Yeah, absolutely. So have some fun and pick a charity, awesome charity, but also get a little bit of a reward for yourself. So.
Yep, and then just a little plug, go to IronTreeFinancial.com, check out our events tab, our quarterly events tab, our ongoing events tab. We have a great open house coming up on May 16th for our new location. We'd love to have listeners stop by and check out our new podcast facility.
Check out the
podcast the new office, the client meeting rooms, the outdoor space that we have, which is phenomenal that we're going to be hosting for different client events. And we're just excited to be here and continue on in 2025. We had a great 2024, and this year's shaping up really well. So I want to thank you guys as partners for being involved in it. And as always, it is Iron Tree Financial.
It is Iron Tree Financial.
Iron Tree.
And we're out. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Your Time, Your Money. We really appreciate it. If you enjoyed today's episode, please feel free to share this with friends, family, coworkers, anyone else that you think might be interested. If you do have questions or topics, you can always email them to IronTreeFinancial@CeteraIS.com. Please follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Spotify, Google Play, and many other sources that were available. And you can reach us at 844-444-YTYM. And as always, it's your time and your money.
Cetera Investors is the marketing name of Cetera Investment Services. Securities and insurance products are offered through Cetera Investment Services, LLC, member FINRA, SIPC. Advisory services are offered through Cetera Investment Advisors, LLC. Cetera is under separate ownership from any other named entity.